Hello everyone and welcome to another Angels and Stars guidance video, this time for the new moon starting us off on the 6th of October. I'm Nāthan Theo Naicker from Spica Astrology and I'm here with my friend Michelle. Hi Michelle.
Hi everyone, lovely to be and really amazing guidance for this period coming through.
Yes, we are now in the Southern Hemisphere springtime, and so the sun is in the sign of Aries, and we're starting with a new moon in Aries for this period. And this new moon has the added energies of Mars to contend with, and a retrograde Mercury, which we're all feeling at the moment, as well as some energy of Saturn coming into the picture as well. So the guidance you're going to receive is speaking to all of this for you. Don't forget that Michelle and myself offer a combined personalized session, which you can have to understand what the stars have in store for you at this time. The first message that we have here, given that we are in the season of Aries, is that to move away from seeing yourself in competition with everybody and other things that you have to do. It's not a fight, it might be coming from survival dynamics, which is very much what's happening in nature at the moment, feeling frustrated with people and new dynamics coming in, things changing multiple times in a day, messing up your schedule or routine, and to shift the focus to go into more of a flow with yourself. So focus on how you are changing from day to day. Focus on how you are growing day to day, how you can adjust and adapt yourself with what you want to do, the things that you want to do and the way you want to do them and how you want to interact with other people going forward. But the focus is very much on this Aries vibration of self-focus first and finding that flow of your own personal growth. In what you're doing, because essentially you are at this time in the year easing into new roles that have emerged or that are emerging and that you're growing into. So just maintain that awareness and not so much like the other people running around you so much.
Yes, and a lot of healing that's been taking place because of loss, and the trying times. We are realizing more and more to move away from that fear of failure, or the fear of loss again, almost like that FOMO, the fear of missing out. And the realization is, what if everything that I've experienced and that I'm doing is leading me into my story? We no longer at a place where you have to fight for the role or audition for the role of your life. I mean, you are it. You are the lead actor. And if we look at just the abundance energy, there is no competition. So I love this image, if you realize that you're the lead actor, you don't have to fight for the role, then there's something better waiting for you, and follow the spiritual quest of your own story.
Yes, yes. Yes. Message number 2 is about the mask. And usually when we talk about a mask, we talk about the negative side, which is what we're hiding or what is behind the mask. But again, Aries is about putting yourself out there. It's about making an impression. And you want to put your best self out there. And for you, not for other people first, but for you, because it matters to you. We might be feeling that we're not getting the feedback we want from people. They might not be communicating with us in the way that we would want, or with how things should be, or things like that. And those rules are gone out of the window in this 2-week period, really. So all that doesn't really matter so much as it is the subtle communication, the vibration, what you're holding inside when you are communicating, when you are standing in the room, when you are entering a meeting room and speaking up, What are you holding inside? What are you presenting? What face do you want to present? And we have the choice. Recognize that we have the choice right now. Instead of rushing into default communication patterns and issues that may be inefficient, but to observe and listen, and then choose how we want to present ourselves, choose our tone that we want to use in our voice, and even our appearance. And by doing this and focusing on this more, we're going to reduce a lot of the sensitivity or reactivity that would otherwise feature very strongly.
I'm reminded now of the principle as within, so without, and you have to be aware of your own emotions in terms of how you're feeling inside. Recognition has to happen first within. And if you realize that your self-recognition, your confidence, and how you feel about yourself is what is important, that is what will shine out. And I think very much linked to the first message, if we have an expectation of the behavior or the approval or the feedback from others, very often that's linked to disappointment because people will not react how you would want them to. So rather shift from expectation to intention, have the intention to show up authentically in integrity without attaching that to the approval of others. And then that will make sure that you then, show up feeling good because the recognition is within. As within, so without. There is also a principle that says what you hide most shows most. And if you try and hide the fears and the insecurities, it's going to show up in many different ways. So rather build yourself up, build your self-esteem up, believe in yourself so that all those insecurities, can be overshadowed by self-love and integrity. Oh, this is a beautiful painting.
Beautiful impressionist painting. I'm a fan of impressionism. And yes, we're getting more organized. We're having to continue getting busy with it. A lot of things to say, a lot of meetings, a lot of speakings, a lot of emails, a lot of back and forth. This is going to feature quite a bit, and redoing things and repeating things, because also it is Mercury retrograde amongst everything else that is happening. But recognize that maybe the big picture is changing, the routine is changing, the procedure is changing, the order in which things you want to do are changing, or other people are having their finger in the pie, etc., etc. Focus on the small steps. Focus on the small things. Each piece of the puzzle, each brushstroke of the painting that you're putting down. It might not look like anything when you look into the details of it. It just looks like a blab of, squares or rectangles. But there is a larger picture at play. There's a bigger image that you are creating. Things are opening up slowly but surely. And in amongst the busyness, don't get caught up in it. Don't sweat the details. Take a lighter approach with things. Touch and go, it's okay. Don't stay too deep. People don't have the energy to do that right now. So manage some of the expectations and adjust your goals accordingly. Instead of these big chunks, break them down into smaller, manageable things that you can accomplish, that you can measure your progress with more easily. So therefore, you'll be moving forward with more efficiency, with more productivity than you otherwise would have had by just wasting the energy that you're carrying. So, I'm reminded of an ant, how ants, they all work together, but each ant is moving a tiny piece of something that contributes to the whole. And that piece of leaf or whatever it's carrying is like 15, 20 times its weight, but it's doing it. And so you're doing that small, it looks like a small thing, but it's part of a bigger tapestry of what you're building for yourself as well. And Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yes, we're all busy with the painting. And I think sometimes we're too busy focusing on that one part, and we forget that it's that little part of a bigger picture that's going to look so beautiful in your story. When I received this guidance, I received, if we walk slower, we get more done. And there is that old saying, one day at a time. And I think now it's one step, one moment at a time. If we look at the principles of manifestation, it's one thing at a time. You listen, you receive, you act. Next, listen, receive, act. It's one step at a time. And if I can just take a minute, when we received the cards, it was the 8 of Raphael, the 4 of Raphael, and the 7 of Raphael, which together made 19, which makes the number 1. One action, one communication, one thing, one healing, one issue, one thought at a time. The lead actor has one phrase at a time. And then he waits for the other actors to respond.
Yes.
Very important, this
Yeah,
one.
and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac.
Oh, wow. See?
And the new moon is the first lunar phase. So the ones are very much, screaming at us to be embraced here. And like you said, walking slowly, this is what the people are doing in this image.
Absolutely.
And maybe also take some time off to have those moments in your day would be a good way to ease the nervous tension. Okay.
Beautiful.
So to recap,
I think we spoke about the lead role. So rather than fighting for your role, just be the lead actor. You've got the role, no more additions, and do that with joy and confidence. And I think be aware. I think we have to authentically be aware of our emotions, and tackle one issue at a time, one communication at a time, but show up authentically as who you are, and be aware specifically if you're breaking yourself down or building yourself up. And I think we spoke about the one action, one breath at a time, one smile at a time, Yes. We walk slower, we get more done, one step at a time.
It's a good feeling to know that you're completing something and then moving to the next thing, as opposed to trying to do many different things all at the same time.
Yes.
It can be a good boost to your confidence as well.
And that's why I so love the painting that you showed, and that method of painting. It can look like such a mess if you look close, but if you step away, you realize, you created a masterpiece, and let everything that you do be one little masterpiece at a time.
Yes.
Such a beautiful energy of Archangel Raphael. Archangel Raphael assisting us a lot during this time with emotions, healing emotionally as well as healing physically, and really assisting with communication issues around work. And, if we just look at the message, breathe. It's so in alignment with all the messages, and yes, it's physical, but it's also emotionally and spiritually, exhale slowly, wake up the energy, release old patterns, but just breathe easier in all areas of your life. Just allow yourself to breathe, breathe, do. And that's why I love the affirmation that came through in the soul light today.
I create my reality every day.
That's the painting. Every brush stroke you create.
Yes.
Yeah, such a beautiful energy. Good reminder for us all.
Good reminder for us all. So yes, so that's the snippet messages for this new moon period, and I hope you find this guidance to be helpful. And if you want a private session, just reach out to us. We're available. And otherwise, wishing you all a very good moving forward 2 weeks of manifesting the Aries vibration. Thanks again, Michelle, and we'll
Thank
chat again
you.
for the full moon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.